Sometimes evil lurks in the most mysterious of places. I was at a Trader Joe's, and I saw a Nazi. I was at a Trader Joe's, and I saw a Nazi. And when I say I saw a Nazi, I don't mean it was like some guy in a gray suit riding around on the back of a tank going from ethnic food section to ethnic food section. Like slowly taking them over. Trying to convince Trader Jose that now is the right time to invade the US. Like, it wasn't that. When I say I saw a Nazi, I mean I saw a man, probably in his 50s, wearing a tank top with a gigantic swastika tattoo right on his shoulder. Gigantic swastika tattoo on the shoulder. And because we were at Trader Joe's, I immediately assumed it was the okay kind of swastika. Right? Because you know there's two kinds of swastikas. There's like the Buddhist symbol, the original one, and then the Nazis kind of flipped it over, and then there's the Nazi one, right? So one of them faces one way, the other one faces the other way. And we were at Trader Joe's. I was like, that must be the Buddhist one. There's the frozen Thai food. Namaste. Have a great rest of your day. Right? Like. But because I'm a Jew, there's a rhyme that we all have to learn to teach us which swastika is which. It goes like this. Swastika to the left, that's a Buddhist, save your breath. Swastika to the right, it's a fucking Nazi! Run! Run! Get your things, we're leaving right now. We need to go. There's a boat waiting for us. We need to get on that boat. No, you can't say goodbye to your friends. We need to leave right now. Leave the art on the wall. There's not enough room for it. We need to leave right now. Maybe we'll come back for it. Maybe we'll come back. I have no idea, but I don't see this playing out well. We need to go. We need to go. I don't think they're gonna like put us in a ghetto and then eventually put us back into the rest of society. That doesn't seem like what's gonna happen. Get your things, we're leaving. I'm walking out the door right now. You're coming with me. It's an old Jewish rhyme. It's all, But listen, this is where my prejudice comes into play. This Nazi was not the only prejudiced person at the Trader Joe's that day. I was also prejudiced because I didn't think a Nazi would ever shop at Trader Joe's. Just based on how they feel about my people, the Jews, I assumed that Nazis also hated bargains, which is all they have at Trader Joe's. But he was a Nazi. He was like a, so I did the only thing I could do. I planted my feet and I took a deep breath and I mildly inconvenienced him. That's what I did. Yeah, from Oregon, I can be passive aggressive, right? I did. I mildly inconvenienced him. Everywhere he went, I went like 3 feet in front of him, hella slow, just super slow. Taking my sweet time. Everywhere he went in the store, I went too. Oh, you want some mixed nuts? Mixed nuts? Wunderbar. Me too. Mixed nuts. Let's go. And we did this throughout the whole store, until, it was time to check out. And it took me way less time to check out than him because, honestly, I wasn't really shopping at that point. And I decided to fuck with him one last time, so I stood in front of the door as he was leaving, and he brushed past me, kind of lowered his shoulder. He was like, watch where you're going. I was like, what did you say? He's like, you heard me. I was like, I did hear you. Is that a swastika on your shoulder? And he was like, yeah, why? I didn't think I was going to have to explain why. I wasn't prepared for that. At that point, I thought I'd been like, well, okay, yeah, you're right. But no, he was like, yeah, why? I was like, that's a symbol of the Nazis. They killed millions of people. He was like, okay, yeah, but not all Nazis were bad. And I was like, oh, you're a dumb Nazi. You're a dumb Nazi. They would have killed you next. You know that, right? So we kept arguing all the way out into the parking lot, just going at each other, thinking we would eventually get to our separate cars and go our separate ways. But then, and I swear to God this is true, we were parked right next to each other. Right next to each other in the Trader Joe's parking lot. So we got into our cars, me into my Prius, because I care about the environment. The Nazi got into his car, which was a Subaru Outback. I need to talk about that for another second. He got into a Subaru Outback. The Nazi got into the official automobile of lesbian mothers everywhere. That's what he got into. He got into a Subaru Outback. This guy was down enough with Germany to get a swastika tattooed on his flesh, but not enough to spring for a German automobile? He went to the dealership and was like, oh, man, well, that Beamer's a little bit out of my price range. I'll go with the Subaru. That's like still kind of the right side of World War II, right? Like a little. But we got into our cars, we kept arguing with each other, right? And like, then he said something which was so distasteful that I won't repeat it. But I got out of my car and I was ready to fight him. I was. And I've never been in a fight before, but I thought this would be like a pretty good first fight. You know what I mean? Like, if you're at a party and people are like telling stories about their first fights and then it got to me and I'm like, I beat up a Nazi in a Trader Joe's parking lot. The next person would be like, I don't want to go. I don't want to tell mine. To go too, and he was a big dude. He was a big dude, but I'm a big dude too, right? I'm a big fucking Jew. For a Jew, I'm a big Jew. Like I feel like I'm the evolutionary answer to the Holocaust. Like a little, you know what I mean? Like I would have been in a concentration camp like 3 years, still this fat. Wouldn't have lost any weight. Nazis would have been up in the tower like, why is he still fat? What's going on? Who has been feeding the pig Jew? I've been eating shoes. They're everywhere. Oh, wow. And I tell that, you know, nothing happened. And then nothing happened. We just kind of got in our cars and drove away. We didn't fight or anything like that. And I know that's kind of anticlimactic. But I tell that story just so I can say this. You know, I know that the Nazis came from Germany. And that was an ugly period in Germany's history. But I don't think we should, like, I don't hate Germany as a country because of that. You know, it was a terrible period in their history, but I don't hate them because that happened. You know, I think, if anything, I'm happy when good things happen to Germany because it gives them an opportunity to sort of rewrite their history, right? To sort of like reestablish who they are as a people, as a nation, as a country. So I think it's wonderful. Like earlier this summer, Germany's soccer team won the World Cup. They won the World Cup, right? That was great. I think it was fantastic. It's so nice that they finally have something gold that they didn't rip out of my grandmother's mouth. It's so nice. Fuck you, Germany. It'll never be cool. It'll never be cool, Germany.